Hello students, I am Mrs. Sharma and I am here to take a class on microeconomics, that is supposed to be one of the subject of class 12. We would first start with chapter 1, that is introduction of microeconomics. See, what we have to first deal, instead of dealing with microeconomics directly, I would like to tell you that what does economics means, right? What does economics means? Economics, under economics, you study two things, that is microeconomics and second study is macroeconomics, right? But what does the term economics means? Economics means you have resources in the economy and how will those resources be allocated. See, you have, for example, if you take off your home, at your home you have some money to spend. Suppose at your home you have 500 rupees to spend, right? Now how would you spend those 500 rupees? You have to have budget of those 500 rupees. How will you spend that 500 rupee note? Now you have resources. This is a resource that is given to you and you are going to allot it, right? You are going to allot it. 500 on ration, 500 on movie, 500, how you will spend this 500 on different issues of your life. This is what economics is. Economics is basically you have the scarce resources. You have the scarce resources. Scarce resources means resources are very less, right? And these scarce resources are to be allotted as per the priority. Which sector or what in the country requires or requirement goes where, according to that the scarce resources are allotted. For example, you just have 500 rupees and you have to have meals, right? And you have to go for a movie. So which is priority? Priority is eating food, then comes going out for a movie. So similarly, scarce resources means your resources are limited. You have to use those limited resources in the order of your priority. So economics means using the scarce resources. Now economics has two parts, microeconomics and macroeconomics. What does word micro means? First see the word micro and macro means. Micro means little, small. That is what the word micro means, something that is very small, right? And what does word macro means? This is small, right? And what does the word macro means? Large. Alright, so microeconomics, study of economics in a very small or a very limited portion is known as the microeconomics, or studying the small portions of the economy is known as microeconomics. Macroeconomics, studying the large or the wide portions of the economy is known as macroeconomics. How you will see studying the small and the large portions? Suppose you have income, right? Income, whatever income you are generating. See, if there are 4 people X, 3 people X, Y, Z, right? He is earning 1000, he is earning 2000, he is earning 1000. So X 1000, Y 2000, Z 2000, 1000. Total of 3 will be how much? 4000. So studying X income, Y income and Z's income is known as microeconomics. This whole 4000 is what? Macro, right? Macro means whole or large. 4000 is the total contribution of 3 people towards the economy of the country. So 4000 means macroeconomics. The national income of the country is known as, when you study anything of the country, national income, resources, expenditure, capitals, savings of the economy is known as macroeconomics. But when you see that X income plus Y's income plus Z's income. This, if you study individually, you will study X income, Y's income and Z's income. That is known as microeconomics. Individual study or small study or tiny study of all the portions of the economy is known as microeconomics, whereas when you add these small portions of microeconomics, you will get macroeconomics. This is what you study under microeconomics and macroeconomics, right? You have different definitions given by the renowned economics about the micro and the macroeconomics. Some are dealt in other books. You have different definitions in different books given to you. You can choose either of the definitions and you can go in for the exams. Now next portion that we will study is features of microeconomics. Economics we have dealt micro and macro. We will first take up microeconomics. We will study the features of microeconomics. Right? What are the different features that make up the microeconomics? First is study of the individual units. As I told you earlier, macroeconomics is study of the aggregate, that is the total, and microeconomics means study of individual. Individuals means, suppose we say that the contribution to national income from the state of or from the city of Mumbai is these many crores, right? So individual units means from household you are getting something, from production unit you are getting something. So individual is you are studying the different aspects of one problem. See, maybe you have the through production you are getting something, right? Through purchasing you are getting something, from household you are getting something. So that is all you have, the different, or you have different services are contributing. So individual units is this, right? So microeconomics means study of individual units. Either you are studying production or household or services or savings. If you add this together, you will get macroeconomics. So first feature of microeconomics is study of individual units. Second is analyzes allocation of resources. What do you mean by allocation of resources? Allocation of resources means the different resources you have, government has allotted or the country's head has allotted different resources. It has resources, but you have to set that which sector or which area requires maximum money from the other sector, right? So the different problems under allocation of resources is what to produce. First problem is what to produce, right? Second problem is how to produce. First is what to produce, second is how to produce, and third is how much to produce. How much to produce. These are the three problems that are studied under allocation of resources. You don't know what to produce. There you can produce anything, but what requires the emergency? Emergency is spending money towards the food, or emergency is spending money towards any other sector. So this is what to produce. How to produce? If your machinery is very, very costly, can you take the help of the labor in order to produce the goods? Yes. So you can save money and be labor intensive. So this is how to produce. How much to produce? You have to see how much is the demand of the product in the market. If the demand is less, you cannot have lots of supply. So in order to check the demand, you have to see demand and supply curves. So you will have how much to produce means you will only produce as per the requirements in the society or as per the requirements of the consumer for the type of goods that you produce. Second is analyzes allocation of resources. Third feature that could be is focus on market behavior. You have focus on market behavior. Right? You have focus on market behavior. What you will have the market behavior? Market behavior means the same problems that we studied. What is the market behavior towards your product? Who are the things that make up the market? You have the sellers, you have the buyers, right? Then you have the people who are interrupting, like you have the government. Then who else you have? You have the people who are another people, those are the competitors. So you have different people who make up the market behavior for your product. your suppliers, that is who supply you the raw materials, the consumers who take up your goods, finally the government who interrupts you or helps you in producing the goods, your competitors. So they all play a major role in the economy. Next feature is you have analyzes economic efficiency. What is economic efficiency? It means that how the resources are varied or how the resources are allocated among the different users, and how it is allocated to different producers and individual producers and consumers, and are they being efficiently utilized. The government or the people who are allocating the resources, their job doesn't stop on allocation of resources. They have to check whether the resources that are allocated for different uses are effectively used or not, right? Otherwise, if I'm giving money to somebody, I will see that my money is being efficiently used. If that money is not efficiently used, next time giving the money to that person, I would take up the money and give it to some other person who can utilize it in a better manner. Next is products price determination. You have to have the product's price determination, means how you will determine the price of the product with the help of demand and supply, right? How you, for the forces that are forces of demand and supply that help you to determine the price of the product. So microeconomics, you study the price of a particular product, but when you talk about macroeconomics, you study the aggregate demand in the economy. But when you have to have the products, that is an individual unit, you have to have my study of microeconomics. Next feature that comes is determination of factor pricing. Do you know what does the term factor means? Factor means that help in the production of goods, that is land, labor, capital, organization. I will tell you again, factor means land, labor, capital and organization. These are the factors of production. Determination of factor pricing means how you will price. What you are going to pay for land? Rent. What you are going to pay for labor? Wages. Capital? Interest. Organization? Profit. Right? So you have land, labor, capital and organization. You will determine how much rent you have to pay for the land that you are using. How much wages will go to the labor. Next you will see how much interest you are paying on the capital that is invested in the business. And finally, what is the organization earning? That is, what are the profit in terms of money, what is the organization's gain, profit or loss, right? Next feature is partial equilibrium analysis. See, when you study equilibrium analysis, you study all the features that help to get the equilibrium. Equilibrium means when two things meet and they are equal, right, at a point. So, when you study equilibrium, you have all the factors into consideration which make something equal. But when you have partial equilibrium analysis, means under microeconomics you have partial. Partial means not whole. Partial equilibrium analysis, because when you study law of demand, you will see that law of demand states ceteris paribus. That means ceteris paribus means other things being constant. When you study law of demand, you have determination of demand curve or determination of the price with the help of the demand curve. If price is rising, demand will fall. This is the thing. So you have two things that are played majorly, that is price and the demand. Other things remaining constant. Other things means the income, the taste and other factors that help in making the demand successful. So partial equilibrium analysis means when you study microeconomics, you have individual demand, and for that individual demand you have the pricing system. And with that you just have two things, individual demand and the prices. You don't have any other factors. All the other factors are constant. So that is why it is said partial equilibrium, because the rest of the factors are just constant. Next feature that is under study is economic welfare. What do you mean by the term welfare? Welfare means you are doing something good for somebody, right? Now what country will do good? Country will do good for the producers and for the consumers. Now in the terms of economics, right? What do you mean by the term economic welfare? Economic welfare means when you have, suppose you are allocating the resources. Our country is facing the problem of scarcity of resources, right? Now those resources are very less as itself, so it needs to be allocated properly. Once the resources are allocated, what you have to check whether they are being used efficiently or not. If they are used efficiently, that means you are producing. Economic welfare means you are allocating the resources, right? Next, after allocating the resources, what you see, you have to check the efficiency, whether the resources are used efficiently or not, right? After checking the efficiency, you will see that is there any income that is being earned. See, if you are doing things efficiently, means money is coming in. Now what you see, if you are playing a fair policy, means you are producing the goods as per the demands. Government has given you some subsidy and you are doing something wrong with the money that is being allotted to you, you will never be able to. Even if you earn profits, you will just be earning profits and consumers will gain nothing. So that will not be economic welfare. Economic welfare means whatever money you have got, you are playing a fair policy, doing the production as per the demands and as per the rules, and you are also getting profits and consumers are also getting good quality of goods, and the income is distributed equally in the society. Next feature is using slicing method. This is another feature of the microeconomics. That is, slicing means you are dividing the economy into small economic units, right? This is dividing into small economic units, right? You are dividing the economy into smaller economic units. Slicing means you have a whole thing and you are slicing it. So you are dividing the economy. This is one unit, this is second unit, this is third unit. So dividing the economy into smaller units and doing the in-depth study, doing the individual study of the individual units. That is the microeconomics, feature of microeconomics. Last feature of microeconomics is construction of models. With the help of, what is a model? Model is a representation of a task that you are to do. You have made a model or a representation that you will do a particular task in a particular fashion. Now you have constructed a model with the help of the study of microeconomics, that individual. Now when you study the individual, you will have an idea that how the bigger thing will be. So because the aggregate of all the individuals will be what? A bigger picture. So when you know a smaller picture, you have individual, you know picture 1, you know picture 2, you know picture 3. You have done the study of all the 3 pictures, right? So picture 1 plus picture 2 plus picture 3, you will get a bigger picture, that is known as macroeconomics. So construction of model or help in the study of macroeconomics, right, will be done with the help of the models of microeconomics. So these were the features of microeconomics. We'll do the next heading, that is assumption of microeconomic analysis. First assumption of microeconomics analysis, let me brief up the last session. Micro means small, microeconomics means study of the small or individual units of the economy. So what are the assumptions of microeconomic analysis? What do you mean by the term assumptions? Assumption means something that you don't know and you just pretend. Something that you don't know how to do, when to do, how it will be done, who will do it, then you just assume or pretend something. So there are certain assumptions to microeconomic analysis, because whenever you do a task, it will not be a sure shot. So it has to be some pretensions or assumptions that will be attached to it. So first assumption of microeconomic analysis is rationality. Rationality. What do you mean by the term rational? Rational means a person is said to be rational when he is using his mind and taking decisions, right? Rational means when you are rational and when you know. See, suppose you are walking on the road, you know that the rule says that you have to walk or drive on the left side of the road. So that is a rational behavior on your part. If you go and purchase something in the market and that is very high in price or it's costing high, then you will definitely definitely not buy the product. Many a times we do that because of certain quality we do behave unrational, irrational, but rationality says that you are behaving in a very natural way like what others would have behaved. So first assumption of microeconomics is rationality, which says that all individuals are rational in their behavior. See, we are studying microeconomics, so definitely it means that we are studying the individuals. So rationality means all individuals that constitute the economy or that form the part of the economy are rational in their behavior. Whatever decisions they are taking regarding purchasing the product, selling the product, they are making rational decisions. They are behaving in a very normal fashion, right? Next assumption after rationality is free flow of information. What do you mean by free flow and what is information? Information is exchange of data or exchange of ideas from one person to another. Information is you are giving something or telling something to somebody. If I am the seller and you are the consumer, I am giving you the information that I am producing a particular product and that costs this much, right? So free flow means there is no interruption or there is no hindrance in the information that is flowing from one person to another. See, what type of information it could be? It could be the demand information. The consumers may demand the product from the producers. This is one information. Another flow of information is from the producers to the consumers, that we are producing a particular product for a particular price. Next information could be government is transferring some kind of information to the producers that you can produce this product only but with the help of license or any other such rules and regulations. So this is when you study about the microeconomic analysis, there is an assumption that when information is passed on from one party to the other party, the information is free in nature. Next assumption that is divisibility. You cannot count. There are certain things which you can count. If I say I am producing certain quantity of goods, then I am getting this much amount of money from my producer. But you know what? The efforts cannot be divided. Money can be divided according to the time you are putting in or efforts you are putting in, but the efforts cannot be divided, the goods cannot be divided. So efforts are indivisible. They are assumed that they are divisible. So this is one of the assumption of microeconomic analysis. The other assumption is said to be full employment and laissez-faire. Full employment means microeconomic analysis assumes that there is full employment in the economy. There is no person in the economy who is sitting unemployed. There may be underemployment, but there is no unemployment. Every person is employed in the economy. He is doing a small work, a big task, a medium task, but all people are employed. Nobody is sitting idle. So this is one of the assumption of microeconomic analysis, that there is full employment. Now what is laissez-faire? Laissez-faire policy means freedom of doing the task. That is, you are no more in the hands or you are no more in the purview of any person. It's easy for you to move your things from one place to the other, and freedom, that is laissez-faire, means you are got full freedom for moving the goods and the people from one place to the other. So see, it is full employment means nobody is unemployed in the economy, and laissez-faire policy, what does it say? That there is full freedom in the economy, right? Next assumption that is talked about is your ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means other things remaining constant. See, when you talk about demand, you talk about supply, there are many factors which are compelling you or which are acting as a guiding force. If you go and produce something, for example, if I go and buy something from the market, then I have many factors that are taken into consideration. My income, the money I have in my pocket, the quality of the product, the product that is being available, that is the producer giving me any kind of schemes? So there are many factors that are affecting the demand, or that are affecting my demand for a particular product. But they say that when you talk about demand and supply, there is only one factor that plays a major role, and that is the price. If prices are increasing, your demand will go down. If prices are going down, your demand will push up. So that is no other thing that is affecting demand and supply. All other things are remaining constant. Only the demand and the price, they keep on changing. That is, there is an inverse relationship or a cross relationship or opposite relationship between the demand and the price of the product. Other things may be the taste and preferences of the consumers, the income of the consumers. These are all the other factors, but they are remaining constant. That is, once you talk about the demand, other things are remaining constant, and only price plays a major role. So ceteris paribus means all other things remaining constant. Only one factor affects the talk, or only one factor affects the title that we are talking about, that is maybe a demand here. So all things are remaining constant, only one factor plays a major role. So this is one of the assumption of microeconomic analysis, that all things remaining the same, one factor comes up, and that only helps in deciding what will be the demand of a particular product, or what will be the supply of a particular product in the economy. Next assumption is perfect mobility of resources. Perfect means there is no doubt, perfect means there is no flaw, perfect means there is nothing wrong. Mobility means you can travel from one place to another. Thing can be transferred. If you are a person, you can travel. If it is a product or a thing or a good, it can be transferred. So perfect mobility of resources. What are the resources? Resources could be raw materials. What are the resources? Resources could be labor. These are the resources we are talking about, right? Resources could be capital, right? So these are all the resources we are talking about. So you have perfect mobility of resources. So resources means raw materials, resources means labor, and resources means capital. The resources can be moved perfectly from one place to the another. That means if you need raw materials, it can be transferred from one place to the other place without any hindrance. If you talk about labor, there is perfect mobility of labor. Labor has full right. If it doesn't like one job, it can transfer to the other job, because there is no restriction in the movement. Capital means you have, today I have invested money in one of the venture, that in venture is not giving me profit. I will take money out of it and put it in another venture. So this is capital. Perfect mobility means we assume that resources are perfectly mobile, means resources can be very easily transferred from one venture to the other venture, or from one investment to the other investment. These are some of the assumptions we are talking about of microeconomic analysis, and this is the last assumption, that is perfect mobility of resources. Raw material, labor, capital. There could be other resources also that are used in the business, but these carry the most perfect mobility and could be transferred from one place to another without any hindrance. That is supposed to be one of the assumptions, right? Next topic that we will deal today is you have importance of microeconomics. You have studied the assumptions, you have studied the features. Now how and where you have uses of microeconomics, or how and where, what is the importance of microeconomics, who studies it, why it studies, that is the importance we will do of microeconomics. First importance of microeconomics is helps in the allocation of resources. See how it helps in the allocation of resources. It means microeconomics is studying the individuals, right? It is studying the individual, so it knows what is the demand of each individual, what is the criteria of deciding which individual to prioritize and which to not, which sector to prioritize and which to not. So microeconomics means studying of the individual units of the economy, right? It could be units, means it could be anything. It could be industries, it could be banking sector, it could be agriculture, it could be any service, that is, you take the name and that would come under it. So it is study of the individuals. Now helps in allocation of resources means it decides upon the problem, as I told you, what to produce, right? Next is you have how to produce. Next will be how much to produce. You have three things that help you in the allocation: what to produce, how to produce, and how much to produce. What to produce means you will see what is the demand of the particular sector, what is the individual demand, means again microeconomics. How to produce, you will see whether the particular unit or the individual unit is a labor intensive unit or a capital intensive unit. Does it have abundant of resources so it can buy the capital, or it has to take the help of the labor? How much to produce means it all depends what is the demand of the product. So this is all again with the help of microeconomics you will be able to allot the resources to the areas that require it most in the descending order. Next importance will be formulation of economic policies. Which economic policies? It could be fiscal policy, it could be monetary policy, it could be foreign exchange policy, it could be taxation policy. See, or it could be with the help of individual units you will be able to design your tax structure. Suppose for example, if you take the taxation policy, that is one of the economic policy. How you will decide the taxation policy? Okay, there are these many people who are under the slot who will be paying the taxes, and these people are debarred, or they are exempted from paying the taxes. Now after studying the people who will pay the taxes, how much taxes, what is their income, are they concealing or hiding any income, or they are really paying taxes in a fair manner. So formulation of economic policies again means with the help of the study of microeconomics, that is study of the individual factors and units, you will be able to form your economic policies. Various economic policies, you have the taxation, fiscal, monetary and foreign exchange policy. Next is functioning of economic agents. What do you mean by the term economic agents? Who are the economic agents? Economic agent means like you have laborers, you have capital, then you have entrepreneur, like you see different factors. You see land, labor, capital and organization. Who is what? You have different people who are managing, right? Who are managing the behavior, the decision influences. Functioning of economic agent means these agents' behavior is affecting the working of the economy. Economic agents means they are getting some kind of, it is some kind of functioning, they help into some kind of, they act as a catalyst. They help in some kind of functioning of the economy. So functioning of economic agents, they are getting some screwed up, or they are tightening, or maybe they are increasing or decreasing the functioning, that is increasing the pace or decreasing the pace of the economy. So who are the economic agents? You have the land. So owner of the land is the economic agent, right? Then you have the labor. So the labor, the one who is hiring the labor is the economic agent. Who is getting work done out of the units of the microeconomics, that person is known as the economic agent. If you talk about capital, or the owner of the capital, that a person who is having money is said to be the agent. You talk about organization, the entrepreneur is said to be the economic agent. So somebody who acts a bit, agent means who is an agent? Who acts as a link between the two things. So here agent means the person who is acting a link between the economy of the country and the people who are directly involved in the economy, who are contributing. So these agents help in bringing the two things together, like they are getting what? They are getting profit from the organization, so that profit goes and adds to the economy. So they are known as the economic agents. Helps in allocation of resources, formulation of economic policies and functioning of economic agents. Next importance of microeconomics is you have economic efficiency, right? What do you mean by the term efficiency? Whatever task is assigned to you, you are doing it perfectly. Nobody will be able to pinpoint you on anything. That is known as economic efficiency. That is efficiency. Economic efficiency means you have divided the resources. As we have dealt in the first point, allocation of resources, microeconomics helps in allocation of resources. Now the task does not finish there. You have to see whatever resources you had allotted in the economy, are those resources being utilized efficiently or not. So you have to check whether the resources are being efficiently employed or efficiently used or not in the economy, right? If you argue what all you have to check in the efficiency, whether the production is being efficient. Sometimes what happens, the government is providing subsidies to the producers, right? You say, okay, I am giving you this much of light free, this much of power free, this much of lubricant free, this much of subsidy in your water free. So this much of subsidy in your water, or sometimes you get it at an off cost. So efficiency means in the production. You have been getting few things, or you have been getting something free at all, something at a subsidized rate. So are you using it efficiently or you are misusing it, right? Next efficiency is in the field. See, production. Next is you have consumption. You have consumption. On your demand, the goods have been produced by the production house, right? So are you using, they have allotted, okay, they say that this is the demand of the consumers outside. Now they are putting a lot of money in producing those goods. Are you really buying the goods? Are you efficiently using the, see, if I am putting money and I'm not getting the returns, means my economies are not being running efficiently, or my money has not been utilized efficiently. So consumption means whatever goods are being produced by whom? By the producers. Are those goods being efficiently being utilized, or is his money being efficiently utilized? Next is distribution. Next is distribution. How distribution? Distribution means is your money being distributed or wealth being distributed equally or not? If I am the producer, I am earning profit and I am showing to my workers that there is no profit and giving them less, then what will happen? I will get richer and richer and my workers will get poorer and poorer. So is my income or is my wealth being distributed equally or not, so that there will be no regional disparity? If the economy or the efficiency will be in distributing the income properly and in a fair manner. Next importance is decision making. What do you mean by the term decision making? As we have studied about in the allocation of resources, that who will decide that where to use. See, government is deciding where to put money. To put money in the private sector, to give money to the public sector, or to put money in the agriculture sector or industrial sector or tertiary, or that is also known as the service sector, from where you can have the more returns. So that is the so that is allocation of resources. Now here we will discuss that how will that problem of allocation of resources being solved with the help of decision making. So decision making involves, as I told you, what to produce, how to produce, how much to produce. Another will be when to produce. There is a time period for producing a commodity, and where to produce. Where to produce means, suppose I am producing a good here but it has a high demand in some other state. I am producing a good in Maharashtra but that product has a demand in another state. So the problem should be very clear where to produce. Until and unless you define the problem, the answer or solution will never turn up right. So you have to define the problem right, and you have to take the right decision right time, and you have how much to produce and how to produce and whom to produce. So this is the problem of decision making. So this is one of the importance of microeconomics, that individual units help you to take the decisions in a fair manner. Next and the last importance is working of the economy. So working of the economy means what? See, you have to understand what do you mean by the economy. Economy doesn't only means production. Economy means producing goods and services. Economy means producing with the help of labor, producing with the help of capital. That means these are all known as the factors that help you in the production of goods and services. So these are all the market mechanisms. Where you are supplying the goods, what goods have you produced. So this is all working of the economy. Means only economy could be studied if you study the microeconomics or you study the individual units. Until you study the individual units, you will not be able to draw or figure out the whole picture, right? So individual units need to be studied very efficiently in order to draw a perfect picture. So this is working of the economy, one of the importance of microeconomics. Next, we will deal with another head. Last topic that we will deal in introduction of microeconomics, first chapter, is individual problem and national problem. See, what is the difference between individual problem and national problem? First basis will be, difference will be of meaning, right? First difference will be of meaning. What do you mean by the term meaning? Meaning is you are defining something. You know, this is individual problem, means it could be Mr. A, right? It could be A's firm, it could be A's bank, right? So this is Mr. A's. If you study Mr. A, or you study his production house, you study his bank. So this is all individual units you are studying. This is an individual problem. Mr. A is facing a particular problem. Okay, that is an individual problem. A's firm, A's industry is facing a particular problem. It is not producing goods on time. The labor is creating problem. That means that is an individual problem of A's firm. A's bank, Mr. A is running his own bank. There are certain problems. The services are not up to the mark. Means this is a service problem. So all individual problems, you mean to say the individual units have some problem. Next, here it means this is individual, this is aggregate of problems, aggregate of individual problems, right? So this is problem of a single person, this is aggregate of individual problems. That is all the, when you add Mr. A's problem, Mr. B's problem, Mr. C's problem, this is an aggregate, or this is the national problem, right? So this is one difference. Next you have is, I've given you the examples of that. Suppose you say, you take an example of another national, that is poverty, right? If you take the example of poverty or income, or you take income, income of Mr. A is high, income of Mr. B is high, income of Mr. C is high. Means you are studying the individual problems of A, B and C. That is individual problem. But if you talk about national problem, means poverty at the country level, at the national level, right? That is poverty at the, this is first point, this is poverty at the national level, or you can say income at the national level. What is the income? That is aggregate of all the incomes of the individuals. Next that could be studied is, that is degree, right? Degree or extent, extent to which you solve the problem, or this is degree. Degree means, or extent means what? You have the degree of the problem of the individual units is very small. You say only Mr. A is in a problem, right? So degree is very small. But you talk about the degree is vast, right? So degree is vast. You say that is a national problem. This whole sector is facing a problem. So it is a large problem, or the problem is at the macro level, right? If you talk about the individual, means this is one individual who is in a problem. But if you see there are so many individuals, that means problem is at the micro level or the national level. Last is you have solved Who will solve it? The problem is solved by the person himself or the government, right? If you see a sick unit, there are so many units that are doing good in the society. If you see one unit that is a sick unit, means what? That the problem will be solved by that particular unit, right? But if you talk about the national problem, it is what? It is the sick unit or the whole sector is gone bad. It could be the individual himself or it could be the government, right? But many cases individuals do solve the problems and take out the solutions, or government's help if required is taken. But if you talk about the solution when you have a national problem or problem at a large or a macro basis, it is solved by the government, right? So central government comes into the picture, because all individuals cannot sit themselves and solve the problems, because everybody will come up with a different solution, because when many opinions and many minds come together, definitely there is a clash of opinions or difference of opinion. So there will be one body which will be functioning, and that will take the decision which will solve the national problem or problem at the macro level. So there are certain questions also which are given in the textbook, but basically when you talk about the macroeconomics or microeconomics, micro means small, economics means you have to see the different units that constitute the economy. It could be the agriculture sector or the production, that is the manufacturing sector or the production sector, and third will be the service sector, right? So this all comes under microeconomics, means you are studying the individual units of the society. But when you talk about the macroeconomics, you study the thing at a large. So when you add up these individual units and bunch them together, that is known as the macroeconomics. So the first chapter is completed, that is introduction to macroeconomics comes to an end, and next chapter we will be dealing in the next class.